In the heart of a remote Welsh valley, draped in mist and mystery, stood the once sacred St Ignatius Monastery, now a canvas for the imagination of aspiring documentarians. The assignment was a dream, an entire month to explore the Gothic stone edifice that had long since shed its spiritual vestments. A chance for Leo, a young filmmaker with ambition coursing through his veins, to carve his name into the annals of documentary filmmaking. For Maya, his sound engineer, it was simply a paid vacation in a stunning, albeit slightly eerie locale. The monastery, with its towering spires and crumbling cloisters, was far older than it appeared. Stone walls whispered secrets from the 12th century, while vines crept like fingers over ancient carvings. It had been abandoned since the 1950s, not from a lack of faith, but due to a whispered petition from the last monks who claimed the site was spiritually untenable. They had fled in haste, leaving behind sacred vestments and half-written journals, fragments of a life once lived in devotion. Leo and Maya set up their modern camping gear and audio equipment, stark contrasts against the cavernous, stone-flagged refectory. The first few days unfolded like a pastoral tableau, sunlight streaming through tall, stained glass windows, casting jewel-toned reflections onto dusty floors. Leo captured sweeping shots of the cloisters and the wild herb garden, while Maya meticulously arranged her sensitive microphones, hoping to bottle the essence of silence, the soft whistling of wind, the cooing of pigeons, and the gentle sighs of time. It was Maya who first felt the stirrings of unease. On the third night, as she sifted through her recordings, a rhythmic scratching slithered into her ears, buried deep within the ambient noise, almost subliminal. "Sounds like a branch against a window," Leo remarked, his gaze fixed on the camera before him. "Maybe," Maya whispered, her brow furrowing. "But I recorded this in the underground scriptorium. There are no windows down there." The next day, driven by a nagging curiosity, she descended into the scriptorium, a cold, damp cellar that exuded the scent of old ink and wet clay. As she sat in the oppressive silence, microphone active, an unwelcome sensation swept over her, a cold pressure against her skin, like invisible eyes oaring into her soul. She packed up hurriedly, a shiver tracing her spine. That night, the audio transformed into something sinister. The scratching grew clearer, coupled with an unsettling, guttural whisper that hovered just at the edge of comprehension. It lacked words but was laden with intent, a palpable hatred that resonated through the very stones. Meanwhile, Leo too began to sense the change. While filming alone in the long second-floor dormitory, he glimpsed a dark, human-shaped smudge flicker across his camera's LCD screen. Heart racing, he lowered the camera, only to find the room empty. The air where the figure had been felt unnaturally cold, as if the very essence of warmth had been siphoned away. The atmosphere of the monastery shifted. The golden hour light that once bathed the halls in warmth now felt thin and sickly. Shadows thickened in corners, and the once peaceful silence morphed into an anxious pause, a sense of waiting. Maya, now obsessed, began leaving microphones in various locations overnight, each morning revealing chilling recordings. From the chapel came the sound of something heavy dragged across the stone altar. From the dormitory, ragged, wet breathing mingled with the creak of bed frames under unseen weight. But the most harrowing came from the scriptorium, a desperate whisper directly into her microphone. "It drinks the silence." Leo's resolve weakened. The dream project had twisted into a waking nightmare. Yet Maya, a scientist at heart, believed they were on the brink of capturing something extraordinary. "The last monks didn't leave due to a lack of faith," she insisted, her eyes alight with a mix of fear and fervor. "They left because something preys on it. It feeds on quiet devotion. We are here now, listening. It knows we can hear it." The final descent into terror began on their last scheduled night, as a thick fog rolled into the valley, swallowing the monastery in a damp, sound-absorbing shroud. Their generator sputtered and died, plunging them into a darkness lit only by feeble beams from their flashlights. With the hum of the generator extinguished An oppressive silence enveloped them, heavy and suffocating. Then the whispers began, not from their microphones, but from the very halls. They slithered around them, a cacophony of guttural voices, a surrounding chorus that seemed to beckon and warn. Leave, stay, listen. In a frantic bid for safety, they barricaded themselves in the refectory, but the sound of heavy oak being scratched from the outside surged through the room, a sound amplified 100-fold from Maya's first recording. Leo grasped a heavy iron candlestick, while Maya clutched her digital recorder, her knuckles whitening with tension. The scratching stopped, replaced by a soft, slithering noise, like a massive sack of meat dragged across the flagstones, inching closer to their door. It halted just outside, and a low, rhythmic pulsing filled the air, akin to a diseased heart thrumming with anticipation. Then the entity spoke, not a whisper, but a deep vibration that resonated through the very bones of the monastery, shaking the door in its frame. You brought the noise, but you sought the silence. I will drink the one and leave you with the other. The door buckled inward, the iron hinges groaning in protest as a foul, sweet smell, like rotting lilies mixed with open graves, overtook them. In a moment of desperation, Maya raised her recorder and shouted into it, "What are you?" As the door splintered, they glimpsed only a deeper darkness, a formless void that consumed the light from their flashlights. A single, pale, long-fingered hand extended from within, reaching towards them. But Leo didn't see a monster. He saw his camera, lying abandoned on the table. In a frantic gesture, he fumbled for it, turned it on, and pointed the blinding LED light directly at the entity. A sound erupted, neither a scream nor a roar, but a shattering, silent implosion of pure rage. A thing recoiled from the sudden brilliance, the pressure in the room dissipating as the whispers ceased. The fog outside lifted as abruptly as it had arrived, dawn's first rays illuminating the valley in a golden embrace. In a frenzy they ran, leaving everything behind, not stopping until they reached the nearest village. Back in the editing suite in London, their footage proved to be useless, corrupted and glitched, marred by digital noise, all except for one file. The last audio recording Maya had made, where her scream echoed with clarity. On the track, her scream resounded, followed by a moment of absolute digital silence, and then a chillingly intelligent whisper emerged, a direct answer to her question, "I am the thirst." They never made their film. Leo sold his camera, retreating to a job crafting corporate training videos. Maya abandoned audio work altogether. Yet the St. Ignatius Monastery still looms, silent and empty, eternally poised in its valley. They both know, with a certainty that haunts their dreams, that the silence there is not devoid of life. It is a living, patient thing, always, always thirsty.